attorney's fees that are currently pending. Is that motion seconded?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Alexander seconds. All those in favor, please signal by saying aye. Aye.
I'm opposed.
Okay, so the motion's going to carry 2-1, and the motion for fees is dismissed.
No, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. If we can,
I think Hillary had to.
yeah, she's on. Hillary?
Oh,
Say-
Hillary,
Well, if you would repeat that. And then
we just took a vote.
What are we? Maybe since she's on and dropped off.
Okay, Hillary, can you hear us all right now? Okay. Procedurally, I thought Commissioner Stringfellow was on the line. She was not on the line, she was cut off. So I'm going to remove to dismiss the pending motions for attorney's fees pending against George Anderson. And I ask for the motion to be seconded.
And I second.
Okay, Commissioner Alexander seconds. All those in favor, please signal by saying aye. Aye. Okay, and Commissioner Garrett is no. Okay, so the motion carries 3-1, and Mr. Anderson, the motion for fees pending against you has been dismissed. The next item.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to, an additional comment. I opposed, however, had the motion not carried, I would have supported a finding of frivolousness in a couple of the items, not all three. I would have made a motion in regards to that. I made a motion that we reduce the amount asked for in order to make the point that I do believe factually any definition of frivolous, several of these complaints were clearly within Black's Law Dictionary for frivolous and fit a pattern of frivolousness that even some of Mr. Anderson's supporters here today acknowledged indirectly, if not directly. I would not have wanted to send a message without us establishing a clearer understanding of what we're going to define frivolousness as in the future. I know this begins that process, but I think we need to, I think we should, I would prefer that we were sending a little bit of a message to folks that they need to perfect their claims properly, even if they're average citizens, but more importantly, not engage in a pattern of using the privilege of filing these things in front of the Ethics Commission. And hopefully the actions and the words by both Mr. Anderson and Mr. Evans today are sincere, and we'll move forward from this.
Can I say something?
Right, sure.
I just wanted to address something that I think Mr. Perry had said earlier about being worried about chilling people's First Amendment rights. And I'm a staff attorney, and I do review most of the complaints that come in, and I have made a real effort to only accept those claims which I feel clearly state what the allegations are and there has to be evidence. However, that being said, I do take the time to let the complainant know why this is being rejected, and I give them every opportunity to fix the issues and resubmit, and I encourage them to do so. And I've actually done that for Mr. Anderson as well. So we do take the time, we take it very seriously, and we want to encourage the public. So I just want to make it very clear to everyone that we go out of our way to try to, on the one hand, make sure that the complaints are legitimate, but on the other hand, to give the complainant every opportunity to fix any issue that has caused their complaint to be denied.
Thank you, that's an important comment.
Chairman, I just want to say I agree.
No,
very much with
Mr.
what you
Anderson,
said.
please sit down. Vice Chairman Stringfellow, please, go ahead. Okay, thank you. We're gonna lose Chairman Stringfellow. Okay, thank you for the comments by all. The next item on the agenda is our report from the Executive Director.
October's expenditures, so I think Lisa gave you the updated form, but what's in the book is how we finished out fiscal year 12, because we didn't get a chance to do that at the July meeting, and how we're looking for 13. I will tell you that FY13, the one-time $100,000 funds that we got for IT upgrades, I'm asking for about
Questions? Yeah. I think the last item on the agenda is public comment. So, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did just want to take 30 seconds because I share Mr. Evans' concern to make the record crystal clear. And Mr. Evans did state that I, in Common Cause, said that the complaints being considered were malicious, libelous, and that is not what I said. So I wanted it to be crystal clear that I think that the complaints did have some merit, but language used in the complaint were malicious and possibly libelous. And I just kind of wanted to give a for instance, since it was discovered about the complaints. The one involving the governor's daughter-in-law, for instance, was about a payment that took an investigative reporter with 30 years of experience to uncover, and it brought about the questions that we said at the time and still say were very legitimate, that we do feel those kind of questions need to be asked, especially when the chairman of the campaign said the intent was to do it in such a way that wouldn't appear inappropriate. So there are some serious questions that come out of that arise. So I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't confused, that there was that we thought the complaint lacked merit, but that it was not, in fact, my intention to get up and say that the complaints were that the language that was used within that was definitely something that was not appropriate.
Thank you. Additional comment, Mr. Evans.
And not to respond to, I'm actually not,
This is the gift that keeps giving, isn't it?
well, it's an important issue.
I know it is, and I'm not
So I
making.
take it quite serious.
I'm not making light of it.
And the reason I rise actually is, first of all, I want to express my appreciation to everybody's long and hard work on it. I think it's a critical moment. And I rise because I suspect in the future we will revisit this topic. I think the commission today has basically declared open season on candidates and their families and their vendors. There's really effectively no boundary for the kinds of, to use Mr. Perry's words, libelous and malicious allegations or statements that can be made. There's no line that gets drawn. And the net result is when you open the floodgates, we can expect to revisit this more and more again. I suspect that all of my colleagues and friends who serve in various constitutional officers in the legislature and other places will take note that, in fact, even when you have admitted, and I recognize Commissioner Alexander will probably think that's an exaggeration, notwithstanding the apology that we heard, admitted libelous, defamatory, and malicious statements, that there is no consequence. And when that happens, more often than not, you end up with more. And at the end of the day, we may have punted it down the road, but at some point, there will either be a line that gets drawn, or the executive secretary and the staff attorney will drown, because they'll just drown in having to deal with it. They have to deal with them day in and day out. They have to filter through them and get to the reality of the situation. And until then, unfortunately, I think candidates and their families and their friends and anybody who they deal business with will have to weather all of the news media repeating those as if they're the truth of the gospel. And the complainants get to make them with the impunity of knowing that at the end of the day, there is no consequence.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
If it's any consolation, Mr. Evans, I Googled you and you have extraordinary accolades and honors.
So true. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
if
no, I know we don't.
you Google me with kickback, if you giggle me with kickback,
No, I'm sorry, I don't
I'll
mean to
never
make light
have
of
a
it.
string.
It's actually just in a way,
Yeah.
it's really a compliment.
No, and-
I hope you take it as such.
And
No,
I
no,
would,
I actually just think this is quite serious.
No,
I
I know
actually
it
think
is.
that,
And
I think that the allegations that were made are generous as libelous or defamatory, for which, at the end, for which there is no consequence. And when that happens, you can only expect more.
It is serious, and I would just say, I think the commission has been quite clear that all filers are now duly on notice. This is a mechanism in the Campaign Finance Act that's very real, and I'm sure we will revisit it again. I'm quite certain there will be motions for fees in the future, unfortunately. Mr.
I was going to move to adjourn.
Mr. Anderson, you
Chairman,
I earlier wanted to state this, and Mr. Perry stated it very well. I want to reiterate, one of the reasons I got passionately angry was to see on the news, as I've seen over the years, something that would really just tell me that things are not right in government.
Okay,
Well,
I'm
state
gonna-
troopers.
I'm going to second the motion to adjourn.
Thank you. We
No,
appreciate
this is
your
public
time.
comment, sir.
Yeah, and I'm moving to adjourn. I'm moving to
No,
adjourn.
Chairman, I'm not going
No,
to be up
uh,
here before, this is my
no.
last opportunity. to
Mr.
say-
Anderson, stop.
This
We
is
have been
public
more
comment, and I have
patient
an
with
opportunity
you
to
than
state that
any
Fox
other
5
litigant.
should
in-
not have
no.
been state troopers.
Mr. Anderson,
take them out of that
no.
room.
No.
That was illegal.
Motion to adjourn, is there a second?
If you don't like it, so.
Second.
All in favor, please signal by saying aye. Okay. Time is
George.
2
Hey, George.
p.m.
Yeah, you could have behaved.
Sure, absolutely.
George.
I had public comment.
George. George.
Okay, see y'all.
Lisa needs you.
Lisa, yeah, I've got to be quick. I've got to.
You go.
Okay.
I'll stand it.
Kevin, thanks for everything.
Yeah, man, see y'all. Have a good weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, Kelly. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Kevin. You and to your family as well, my friend. Bye-bye.